All right, 10-2. Let's talk about Social Security stuff. Social Security benefits. You. I cannot spell again today. Annette. E. All right. Well, the Social Security and Medicare tax, who remembers where that came from? Well, there's an acronym that's even on your pay stubs, by the way. Yeah. Everybody remember what FICA stands for?
Federal Insurance Contributions.
That's right. So that's your FICA that you see on your pay stub, right? The Federal Insurance Contributions Act. All right. That's designed to give you peace of mind so you can retire fat and happy in a life of luxury. Like that. Okay. So basically, it's money from your paycheck, okay? But I saw it in the video I played the other day, right? So the money from your paycheck, right, that they take out of it, they take that money and they put it in a safe somewhere for you, right, until you retire? No. What do they do with your money?
Use it.
To do what?
Like holding on.
Yeah, it funds the current retirees, right? The blue hairs now. Okay? Money from your paycheck funds current retirees. My what? My hand sanitizer, what? Oh, it's been there all day. We need to do something.
Oh, no.
It's definitely cool.
It's not, it's, yeah, it's gonna be all very crazy. They used to.
That you currently put in goes to pay for elderly people. You know, the people you see like over there, the nursing home and wheelchairs, right? You can't quite remember their name or, you know, grandkid's name, wife's name. Yeah, and they feed them applesauce and they get your money, okay? Now, the max taxable, what was it in 20? The last I had here, remember the max taxable? Like the last time I taught, so the, no, in 2020, I should have looked it up, right? The Social Security max taxable income was 137.7. What was it for 21? The Social Security max taxable income is 137,700, and I know we did it when we did the tax section. I don't know what it was. It's not too far from that, right? But some of the examples in the book, they'll use like the 2016 max taxable. You can adjust, right?
142,000.
142.8. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's write that down. So that's for 2021, right? You said one more time. 142.8.
Yep.
Okay.
147 now.
Well, right now, which is it then? One of those.
Well, 2021, it's 2022 now.
Oh, well, you're not going to file 2022 taxes next year. What is it right for 2021? 142,800. Okay. And I'll have to remember next year to look it up again for next year's crop. All right. Well, let's just go through some of these examples, and after the first one, then we'll kind of learn exactly how you earn Social Security credits and such, okay? And then like the different, like for, the minimum retirement age and the reductions you get for retiring early and whatnot, all right? And by the way, the minimum, the retirement age for full Social Security benefits now is 67. I don't know if you knew that. It used to be 65.
Why would they go up?
To try to save the fund. I mean, they keep doing things all the time to keep it solvent, right?
So that would kind of suck if you're like, about to turn 65.
Yeah,
I'd be really-
yeah, right. You're on your last good knee. You're thinking, I'm out of here tomorrow. No, right? The day before your birthday, right? Somebody had to have that up next to, you get 2 more years there, fella. Right? Imagine that.
It's like you got too many.
All right. Let's see. Sheldon, read us example 1. Pleasantly.
2016, Jose had 2 jobs. He earned $72,440 per year, most common the first 8 months. He switched jobs in September. He began to work in a hospital where he earned $62,566. How much Social Security tax he owed?
So in 2016, I think they have it in there. The max taxable was 118.5. So we'll work with that number. Right, and you just have to adjust this whatever given year they're talking about here. It's 6.2%, right? So now this is really the only time, I think we mentioned somewhere you won't like overpay Social Security, but unless you have this situation, right? You're working 2 jobs, right? Now your 2 separate employers are not going to keep track of which one's paying you, right? And when you go past that amount, if you do, right? So they're going to keep taking, each one's going to take out 6.2% of both of your checks, right, independently. And so you could end up paying 6.2% over the max taxable. Does that make sense?
Right.
Right, and then you would get some of that refunded to you, right? So this Social Security withholding in 1 job. So the withholding, we've established there's 2 H's in that. So 1 job at 73,440, yeah. God. Times 0.062 plus, what's his other job? 62,566 times 0.062. And so he had, how much was it? 84,32,37 withheld. Okay? And he could very well have gone over because with just off the top of your head, those 2 salaries add up to more than the max taxable, don't they? Yeah. So if it was 1 employer, they would have stopped right at some point. Okay? Yeah. Well, at the end of the world, you get it back, right? So the max taxable though is the 18.8, right? So it actually, so it should have been what? Tell me how to figure it out. His withholding should only have been what? How do we figure that out?
Take the 1 over that.
6.2% of that at a maximum, right? Should only be 118,500 times 0.062. 7,347. Any change in there?
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
So either way, that seems like fair.
Well, it's not right, but what? What are you getting at?
I mean, like the way they do it, saying you made 118. Well, we don't really know the math, do we?
What's that plus that?
Well, I mean, for
More
8 months,
than 118,
he saved $1,100.
right?
I mean,
So he overpaid.
when he was working somewhere for 8 months, so he might have been making 73,000 for 8 months, and only making like 50,000 And then the other 4 months, he made like 20,000.
It says he earned that amount.
In that
Oh,
job.
he earned that much.
Yeah.
Oh.
He earned. It's in the, I didn't just, we're not just making up this story
Well,
here as a
no, I
group.
thought like he earned 73,440. I thought that was like per year. That was like a salary.
It says the first 8 months, if you read it.
I see. That makes more sense. That's a lot.
Oh.
I mean, what is he for?
Working out of their thing.
It's not that much. I mean, I guess to you guys, you know, you're earning $3 an hour, yeah, but,
I mean, for 8 months, that's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
really.
probably 100,000 a year,
And then
probably.
62,000 for only 4 months.
So minus what he should have paid, right? So he overpaid 1,085.37. And that he should get refunded to him. He files. All right, so you got to figure that out. Yeah, because they took 6.2% out of both paychecks separately, two different bosses, unaware, you know, neither one. I mean, might not know any of the job, but they're not going to keep track of his earnings and stock, right? Okay. All right. So that's that example. So let's talk about now how you actually earn Social Security, right, through your lifetime. It's done by credits, okay? So Social Security credits. All right? You need 40 credits over your lifetime to qualify for Social Security, all right? You need 40 credits, all right, to qualify. I'm about to get to that. Yeah, like at the place up at the mall, the car wash, right? Tokens. You turn in like all the tickets from the machine.
Every time you get to the
Retire.
you
Right.
get your check.
Yeah. So you get the whack-a-mole game and the little basketball game. You do good at that?
Usually you only end up with like.
And so, okay, you can earn up to 4 credits per year, all right, at a maximum. Okay, can earn up to 4 credits per year. And that's the max. Okay, so how do you earn a credit? What does that mean? Well, in 2020, what I have here, right? We'll run with that for now. It might, again, something they change. If you earn $1,260 in a year, you get 1 credit. Okay. So $1,260, right, in a year earns 1 credit. Okay, that's not much. You earn that money up
Over the course of the year.
over the course of the year. If you earn $1,262, you've earned 1 Social Security credit.
It's 262, 260.
Whatever I said is wrong, probably. What I wrote is right. I don't know why I keep saying 2 here, but
It's really weird.
it is weird.
So
My brain is a little like misfired. Say 2. I don't want to say 2. What, Paul?
So you can only get 4 credits a year for that. and you have
So
to-
a maximum of 4 credits per year.
So you have to make like 4,800 forever.
No, you can only earn that credit once a year.
I'll let you all figure that out when you get your hands on a calculator. Okay? And then, but you can figure out how many credits you have, right? Because you probably haven't had them, but the Social Security Administration will mail you your personal Social Security statement. It'll tell you how many credits you've already earned. You probably haven't. I get one every now and then. They're trying to tell me something. I don't know, right? So there's a Social Security statement. And I bet these days you could actually go online and find it. If you create an account and log in, okay? it lists number of credits you've earned. You personally. Imagine the G&A cost for that, though. That's what, you know. G&A, general and administrative costs. Like whenever a business does something right, one of the costs on the balance sheet is general and administrative. It's like the paper it took to do these things right, and the electricity for the shredder, whatever it is, you know, all the stuff that ate, the toner for the printers to print out that. So our federal government runs this thing, and they have to send each individual in the country their own statement, right?
That's probably.
Their own personalized thing. So, boys, yeah.
You're in a credit towards a 600.
Wait, but what?
You're in a credit by, like, say you won lottery, you got $1,260, is that a credit?
It's earned income. I don't, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't think that would be, no. I'm gonna say no right now. Why don't you find out? Kids, when we come back here tomorrow, Sheldon is going to tell us exactly the answer to that question, right? Look it up. I don't know where you do that. You might have to go to the library. 30 years ago, you know that.
Go to the library.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid, man, we had phones crazy. We had to go down the way to the library, look up stuff to write a paper or whatever, and it's not very big, so if they didn't have the book, you would have to go up to Steel Memorial Library there in Elmira, you know, and
It's a nice library.
we'll find the books. Yeah, it's all right, you know, the Dewey Decimal System. Because you guys don't have a library in the school anymore. Why do you still call it a library? How many books that are there are like just like antiques for show? Nobody. Anyway. So you get the credits thing now? Just now think about it, right? You need 40 credits to be eligible for Social Security, right? What's the max you can earn each year? So what's the minimum number of years you would have to work to be eligible? Yeah, the minimum, right? Could be more, like if you don't earn very much at all, right? Which is about right, you know, stay-at-home moms or dads or whatever, that kind of thing, or bums. Yeah. Yeah, that's not earned income. So let's go to example 2. Matthew, read that, please.
Brand requests for annual Social Security statement from the Social Security Administration. Wants to check how many Social Security credits she received in 2016. All year, she earned 8,102 per month. How many credits did she earn in 2016?
Okay, so she makes 8102 a month. So let's find her annual earnings. I bet you could tell me how to do that. Or not. Just that, right? How do they do it? Well, I'm good at this stuff, Matthew. Been his experience. 97,244 per year. All right. So,
Why do we care about her annual?
because it's a per year credit. I know. Right. And that's another way to do this. Right? And then the check, we'll do it that way. Something like greater than, right? I got you. I know, but it's all weird, but I'm going to do it 2 different ways.
Okay.
You know, right? So let's see how many credits if there wasn't a max, how many credits could she have earned? Divided by what? 1, 2, 6, 0.
Bigger than 4?
Well, let's find out. Does anyone have a calculator see if this is bigger than 4? I think it comes to 77.
It's a little bigger.
So it's not.
77.1.
Yeah, right on your dad.
77.2 if you round.
So he earned the max 4 credits that year. Okay? I know it was goofy. They should have set up a problem where maybe it was close, there was some mystery, maybe just 3 cents shy of that final 4th credit, It would, right? It would.
Not sure I get it.
So now let's do the check, but now I want you to do the check using Casper's method. Yeah. Should have a method named after you already. You haven't even started your career.
I'll call it.
You guys, Casper, what did you do? No, when you were talking about why don't we just do this earlier?
I looked at the number and used my brain.
Yeah, and that there's probably more specific explanation as well.
Not really.
Casper, you didn't divide annual income by what it takes to earn a credit. You did what?
What's the number in millions bigger?
Oh, this is really. So Casper took the 1,260 to earn a credit and multiplied it by what, Casper? 4 to see how much annual money it would take to earn all 4 credits. And then he compared and said, well, if one is greater than that number, this number is greater than that number, then we got it, right? So do it that way. What is 1,260 times 4 credits? 5,040. Needed for 4 credits. So, does Beth get the credits? Why? She made enough money. Well, mathematically, we would say 5,600 is in fact greater than or equal to 5,040. She earned 4 credits. Hooray. Hooray. All right. So that's that bit. So credits. I'm not sure why they do it that way. I don't know. It's all part of negotiating, I suppose. Now, let's talk about the benefit and how they calculate like how much you will actually earn in Social Security. And I guess we're going to go to the next example. All right. So, your Social Security benefit. And again, I have 2020 numbers here. But anyway, it's based on your highest 35 earnings years. Okay? Based on highest 35 earnings years. And you know what I mean by that? Any year that you earned money, right? We'll look at the highest 35 of those years that you earned money. You know, maybe you worked for 40 years or 50 years, right? Well, yeah, maybe, right? Some of those years, maybe you didn't earn that much. Like, maybe those are these years for you right now. I'm hoping these are the years that you don't earn that much relative to what you could earn, right? Okay? Yeah. And so they look at the highest 35 years. And then they adjust for inflation, okay? They adjust for inflation because, you know, 30, 40 years goes by, right? We talked about that. Let's say your highest earning 30 years included, you know, 30 years ago when you earned $15,000 a year, which was pretty decent back then, right? Not so much now.
Living on the street begging for money.
Yeah, back to cat food, right? Begging for cat food. Okay? And so what they do, they call this the average adjusted monthly earnings. Okay? It's called the average adjusted monthly earnings. Okay, so they get a number. It's adjusted for inflation. It's your monthly earnings, those 35 years adjusted for inflation, the average of them. So they first adjust for inflation, then they add them up and divide by 12 times however many years, right? Up to 1235, right? Then they have the formula. And again, this is where I had the 2020 formula. Okay. And there's some part of this we're going to disregard it. I'll tell you what in a minute, right? So here's the benefit formula. Like by benefit, I mean like what you get paid per month when you retire. And this is from 2020. All right, you ready? So we have that average adjusted earnings, right? So you get 90% of the first $960, okay? 90% of first $960 of that adjusted earnings, okay? Monthly earnings. Okay? And then over 960, right, you get 32% of your average earnings between 960 and 5,157. Okay? So you get 32%. So it's a bracket system, right? That's what brackets. Of, let's see, earnings between $960 and $51.57. Okay. And after that, if you made your average monthly earnings were over that, you get 15% of that. 15% of earnings over 51.57. All right.
It almost looks like a tuition equation.
A little bit, yeah. Right. Right. Or inverse tax brackets, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because they're paying you. Right?
Well, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So the important number here is that average adjusted monthly earnings number. Okay? I'm pretty sure most of the problems you give us that average adjusted. Okay? And again, that's in 2020. Now, okay. So again, the retirement age currently is 67 years old. There are situations like before they bumped it up to 67. Like for example, if you were born in 1954, you could right now you could still retire at 66. However, how many years ago was 1954? How many? What'd you say?
I said 66.
Okay.
Well, no.
So the point is kind of moot then, isn't it? You see what I mean? And they would also have a different bracket of adjusted earnings percentages too. So when they wrote this book, those people still hadn't been of retirement age quite yet. But now they are. Time goes on. Huh? All right. Okay. So I'm gonna, and one of the examples deals with this. Somebody that was born in 54, then there's another like in 1960 or something like that. For you guys, none of that's going to apply to you because all of those little conditions will have been long assigned to history. Okay, so I'm not going to focus on them too much except as they do in the example here, right? So let's go to example 3. Jax, you want to take us through example 3?
Melissa reached age 62 in 2016. Age 66, someone born in 1954, like her at 60, full retirement benefits. Over her life, she earned an average of $2,300 per month. After her earnings were adjusted for inflation, what is her Social Security full retirement benefit?
Okay, so the 2,300 is the average inflation adjusted earnings, right? So we're just going to apply the formula because apparently 2016 is the same as what I gave you for 2020, right? 90% of the first 856, right? 50% of earnings over 5157. Oh, 32% of between. Now, are we going to have to go to the 15% bracket for her? No, why not? Yeah, her average adjusted is underneath the 5157, right? Okay, so her average adjusted is 2,300 per month, right? And we got to break that 2,300 up into the brackets, yeah? Okay, so her benefit will be 90% of how much? $856 plus 32% of how much? The 2,300 minus, right? Minus 856. All right. If she was over that 5157 number, it would be 5157 minus 856, and then you'd add the other tier on there, right? Does that make sense to you guys? All right, so you just push buttons on this right here. And then what's her monthly benefit? $1,232.48. $1,232.48 per month that she is blessed with. Okay. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, really. For someone higher, it's
So, per month.
So,
It's like, it's like 300 a week.
You've got to be like living with someone else
Yeah,
for that to work.
someone else with a bigger benefit. Yeah.
so if it's at the max, the 5157, and you make that a month or whatever, so you keep subtracting, but like when you get to the end.
Well, let's say her, just for kicks, let's just say her average adjusted was 6,000 a month, right? It'd be 0.9 times 856 plus 0.32 times 5157 minus 856 plus 0.15 times 6,000 minus 5157. Make sense?
You don't take the rest.
That is the rest.
Leftover?
Just write this down. So let's say her average adjustment was 6,000. It's still 90% of the first 856, right? Plus 32% of the 5157 minus 856, right? But she's over that. She's in that last bracket, right? So plus 15% of her 6,000, right? The amount over 5157. Does that make sense? Do you see it that way? Okay. This one here, she wasn't over 5157. It stopped at 2,300, but it wasn't that second bracket. So what's the amount over 856? That's how you do it. Got it? All right. That's that. This is fun. You guys will learn about something that you'll have to face in a little over 40 years from now. And you remember every bit of this, right? If you all live, yes, of course, that's qualifying condition, sure.
And it's titled.
Yeah, the first, probably it's the first thing condition for collect Social Security is still living. We should probably have included that in the formula. Living plus, 4 credits per year, still breathing. All right. Now, remember, you can collect early, retire early and collect, but what do they do to your earnings? They reduce it by certain amounts, right? Depending on when, and so right now, you get full benefits at age 67, okay? So let's talk about reductions for early retirement or for early benefits or early collection, right? All right. So full benefits at age 67. Full benefit according to the formula we did, right? At age 67. I'm not going to worry too much about the 1954, 1960. Okay. So at age 67, right, you use, this is your formula for your retirement benefits. So, okay, you get all of this, right? Some kids confuse, like they'll see that they get the two things confused because I got more percentages, right? All right. So reductions for early collection. So let's do the age 66, right? It's a 6.7% reduction. Not too horrible, but like it's already low, right? So you want it lower. But anyway, 6.7% reduction. Which means it actually pays what percent? Sometimes it's an easier way to think about it. No, if it reduces your benefit by this much, 93.3%, right? The complement of that. Okay. At 65, you're going to have a 13.3% reduction. Which means it actually pays, the complement of 13.3% is 6.7, right? 86.7%. Again, this sometimes I like to think of it as, okay, what are they actually paying me instead of subtracting out, right? At age 64, it is a 20% reduction. Of course, that's easy. Pays 80, whatever that formula says. 63. It's 25% reduction. Which means it actually pays 75. And then 62 is the absolute last age bracket that you can collect, and that's at a 30% reduction. To get any benefits, right? So that pays actually 70% of what the benefit formula went, right? So you work out that benefit formula, and if you're retiring early, whatever the result of like this was, right? If she retired, that would be her full benefit. If she retired early, we'd multiply that by 0.933, right? Does that make sense? So that'd probably be handy to keep to your side. Of course, let me just pause this and example 4. I think I'm going to tweak this a little because this is one. Take a look at it. I think this is one where they have her being born in 1954, and so I'm pretty sure it's not applicable. Yeah. Marissa is retired. So she's retiring at 65. What will her benefits be? We are going to do it by the table up here, I think. So she's retiring at 65. Let's just apply it straight up here. What would her reduction be? Okay, so let's just do that. Let's see here. No, and they actually do this like by monthly here. Hang on. Let me look at this one again. Sometimes the way this book. All right, so let's say she's retiring a year early. Okay? So, and it would be this 6.7% reduction. All right? Okay. Now, what does it say about her months? Oh, yeah. And look at those years. Look what they had to do. And we don't have to. Yeah. Now, in the 1960s and later, right, and earlier, some of that people were still, but anyway. Oh, how do I want to? I want to set this up so it's not confusing, but they just made it confusing, right? So it's a reduction of 0.5% per month before, in this case, I'm just going to say 67 and say she's 60 because I'm so tired of this example. Before 67. So let's say she's 66. Exactly, and they don't include this. If I'm looking at this again, I'm getting more mad. They're assuming she's retiring a year early, and they're also assuming precisely 12 months early when they say a year. Is anybody seeing the problem where that's clear? You do? You don't. That's sarcasm?
Very clear.
So that's sarcasm, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not clear. Right? Unless I missed something.
Crystal.
Will you circle back to me?
It does say she retired 12 months early.
It does say 12?
Yeah.
Where?
At the very end. When it gives you the solution, it says Marissa's full retirement.
Yeah, the solution though.
That's not like,
Like, what
Oh,
should
yeah.
that be able to profit?
I feel like if it says she waited until age, I mean, exactly at that age.
Yeah.
So let's call it 12 months early. Like they put the very beginning of the problem before, you're trying to work out the solution on your own and 12 months, exactly at the end of the solution. You should have led with that, right? But here's why.
Like it makes that much.
Just watch what happens here. Watch what happens here. 0.5%. What is 0.5%? What decimal? Well, it would be before the advent of the calculator. Oh, God. 5 divided by 9. 0.556. Would you agree?
sure.
0.556%. Right? But what does that actually as a number? Okay. 0.00556. Is it not? Okay. Let's take that number, multiply it by 12. This is why I really hate this example. Anybody else want to take a stab at that?
No.
0.067, which is 6.7%. Holy frickin' popcorn balls.
Wow, that was such a roundabout way to get what we already knew.
That's what I'm getting. Isn't this the dumbest problem? Isn't it? But we're going to hack our way through it. But so we're right back to this chart, aren't we? Okay.
Going crazy.
God. So now that we know that her reduction is straight from the chart, we can do this pretty easily. Did they give us her, oh yeah, and the other example, right? So her average adjusted was what? 1230, no, 2300, right? Okay. Well, anyway, no, well, her average adjusted, no, we got it. We got 1232.48, right? We'll just use that number. That would be her full benefit, okay? So full benefit. That was at 1232.48. And we're going to reduce it by 6.7%.
Or we can do anything.
Exact. So the reduced would be that to 2.48. You could do right times 933.
Yep.
So her benefit now becomes 1149.90. Yeah. 1149.90 per month for retiring 12 months early, aka 1 year.
She's retired. 160.
Yeah, we're stuck at right. Well, like joking aside, right? You get to that age, sticking it out is not quite as easy as it is for you at your age, right? Like at that age, you need some sleep, you need some recliner time, some Bengay, bowl full of Motrin to stick it out, okay? I'm just saying. I'm starting to feel it. Not sure that I'll be able to stick it out for 1 more year at some point.
You could work at Tech Clark's, pick up like 1 shift.
Well, yeah, I might not get out of bed tomorrow. How long it takes me to get out of bed at age 51
Probably like 3 weeks.
Yeah, really.
or 10? You guys operate, man. I got roll. I got one leg down there. Oh God, that hurt, you know, and then roll it. Can't just roll over, right? You got to do it just at the right angle, so you know the spine. It's then when you finally get both feet on the ground, you got to walk, right? And then it's like, oh, it's a limp, right? Because everything's locked up in you while you're sleeping. Your ligaments all froze solid for whatever reason. Yeah, stick it out for 1 more year. Okay. Anyway. None? So we're going to skip example 5. Example 6, a piece of cake. What? No, we're skipping. No, we're skipping example 5. Because we already did the, well, we didn't do it, whatever. So we're going to go to example 6, which is really easy. Example 6 is going to make this look like something.
A little like child's play.
Well, example 6 will look like child's play compared to this.
Yeah.
Okay. Why, read example 6, would you? Well, first of all, we did Medicare then. It's about Medicare, right? And they had the part A and B and C, prescription and all that stuff. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Brian is age 65 and is qualified to receive Medicare. Age 16, he paid standard monthly premiums. How much should he pay for the year?
And I have a little note in my notes next to this. Really? Question mark.
He does have that.
Okay. So,
How do you do it? I think
Well-
the hardest part about this.
oh,
is
so I'm glad you asked, Casper, how we do it. All right. I'm going to need you all sitting down. Let's see here. 104.90. Now, think carefully about this. Right? Is that the monthly premium?
Apparently.
Okay. And they want to know what he paid for the year. Well, presumably.
Well, there are 12 months in a year, are there? And that's a monthly premium. Are you sure?
1, 2, 8. And I'll just replicate what I have in mind.
Oh my God.
But it's like the cool down on the treadmill, right? At the end of the workout, right? I
But
guess
that leads to a legitimate question. How do you know what's on the
they didn't say, did they?
paper? You know, they just said,
Yeah.
in 2016, you paid them the standard monthly premium. How do you
Doesn't
get that?
matter. I'm not even interested enough to go back.
Just Google it, we're not.
Google it, yeah. Did they say it in the words?
Oh, okay, it does, it does. In 2016, standard premium was 104.
Oh, yeah. It's in the little explanation.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, so it's different each year. So,
there we go. It's-
okay.
I'll do it.